My name is Mark Miner. I am an investigative writer and author. In my travels, I've investigated many people and places. Watch as I seek out stories that are typically outside of the box of normal. I am the Seeker. Hey everybody, thanks for coming back. So we are at the Pleasant Butte Baptist Cemetery, or what is now known as the Brownsville Cemetery. So why am I here? That's a good question. So this is a really interesting story, and so today we're at the cemetery to look for the people that are involved in this story, because this story happened in 1895. Yes. So let's see if we can walk around a little bit, and then I will tell you the story as we walk around. So let's look at the graveyard here. So I know you're all dying to figure out what's going on, but let's kind of get a feeling of where we're at. Just kind of look around a little bit. The last time I was up here, the grass was pretty high. So it looks like that somebody came in here and mowed, which is really cool because most cemeteries aren't taken well care of. Now I want to apologize for the wind. It's kind of a muggy day, as you can see. But and we're on top of kind of a hill. So we're gonna get some wind disturbance here. Pretty graveyard though. Let's see what the name on this one is. Crucy. That's cool how they did the white rock. Alright. So I'm actually looking for the name of these people that is involved in this story, because we're gonna do some investigating. Yeah, there's some pretty old stones here though. Let's see what this one says. That's McDowell. That's a pretty old name for this area. God, look how old that one is. That's insane. So typically, we come to graveyards in the past on these episodes to kind of just look at the beauty of them and stuff. But there's a really good story here that we're going to get into here in a minute. It's a small cemetery, but you know, quite a few stones here. I'm hoping, and the stones we're looking for are pretty old. I mean, it's 1895, so okay, so we're looking for the Montgomerys. I think it's John and Elizabeth Montgomery. Oops. They're all kind of pretty close together. Somebody left a coffee cup out here. These are all standards. See, here's some stones here that are kind of hard to read. Yeah, that's Hill, Polly. And we're surrounded by like cattle and sheep. So if you hear that in the background, you know, or something weird in the background, that's probably what it is. See, some of these stones are really hard to read, but you can kind of get the sense of what their names are. Hales, Rogers, Elder, Brooks, Harrington, Adeline. So I'm only doing half a cemetery at a time. You know, some of their names knocked off of there. Walton, another Walton. So, Rice. Ooh, these are hard to read. Warmouth. Oh, the whole family's buried here. Warmouth. Let's see who these people are over here. Meikle. Mother and father of who? Cochran. Holtz. Mellow. I know I'm skipping a few. Pillpot. DeWitt. Dawson. These all look pretty new. Hudson. I'm kind of just looking as I'm going. Wagner. Nelson family. Croom. Harrison. This one's just off by itself. Let's see who these people are. Barnes. Well, it looks like they kind of dug up the ground a little bit when they mowed out here. Hawker. Harrison. Harrison, there's a lot of Harrison family out here. Rel. Okay, I'm gonna go get my phone real quick. I didn't really see their headstone, but some of them are pretty, like, you can't read the names on them. So, I know they're buried here because I did the research before I came here. So, let me grab my phone real quick. Alright. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. So, I know they're buried in this graveyard, the people I want to talk about. Let's go find a seat and talk about these people. Maybe it's just one of these graves that you can't make out the name. I don't know. I'm gonna find out. I wonder. Let's go back to this chair. Someone's provided a chair. So, let's go sit down there. Hear those cows? I don't know if you can hear that. Alright, so, oops. So let's start with the story. So, this happened on November 19th, 1895. So, during a family squabble, 18-year-old Lloyd Montgomery murdered his mother, father, and a visiting neighbor. Lloyd coldly shot each of his victims through the head. The area has fought to silence this act of aggression in the Montgomery family, even to this day. They really don't want this information out there, but usually I respect that. However, it's such a great story to tell, and it's just going back in the past to how the law dealt with things and such. Alright, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. So Lloyd Montgomery was the oldest son of John and Elizabeth Montgomery. Who owned a big prosperous farm near Brownsville, Oregon, which is where we're at. Lloyd was a hulking, surly youth who was very stubborn and with a bad temper. For some years, his smaller father had been afraid to discipline Lloyd, so Lloyd had developed an attitude of entitlement and a disinterest to consider the feelings of others. We see that from time to time, don't we? So, on November 19th, 1895, it all comes down. So apparently, Lloyd, who was the oldest sibling to 4 siblings, I had to remember that, was very entitled. And you got to remember, back in the day, the oldest was always the most, not loved, but they're the ones that inherited everything. They're the ones that always took over the business. They're the ones that were always favored. Let's put that word in there. So I can understand where Lloyd might have got the entitlement thing. However, from what I understand in the records that I've read, he was quite the troublemaker. Everybody in town thought he was like a bad seed. Like, he was just a bully. And, yeah. So anyways, let's move on with the story. So on November 19th, 1895, Lloyd's father had had enough of Lloyd's attitude and had slapped Lloyd across the face, which probably, I would imagine, how Lloyd felt. But this was done in the presence of a family friend, a mill owner named Daniel McKercher, and he had been so furious, Lloyd, that he'd gone back into the house and retrieved his father's Winchester rifle and shot his father in the head. So let's place this. So they must have been standing outside. His father and Daniel McKercher, so John Montgomery and Daniel McKercher, must have been standing outside. Lloyd must have approached them and caused an attitude, and John Montgomery, the father, must have gotten really tired of it. Father was being embarrassed in front of Daniel McKercher. and had slapped his son in the face, humiliating Lloyd. So, I think everybody's kind of overreacting here. But the biggest overreaction would be Lloyd going into the house and getting the Winchester. Yeah, that's a little much. But of course, he's spoiled, he's entitled, he's a bully. He thought he could solve this. But then he walks up to his father, John Montgomery, and Daniel McKercher, and just blankly shoots his father in the head with a rifle. Because you can't just imagine he just goes up and does it. You have to imagine that they must have seen him coming up with the rifle. So there had to have been like a standoff. His father had to try to talk him out of it or plead for his life. Daniel McKercher must have tried as well because he stood there. And Lloyd just, shot his father in the head. McKercher then fled around the side of the house with Lloyd in hot pursuit, trying to take cover by dashing inside. Because he knew he was next. Just as McKercher got to the front steps of the house, Lloyd got a clear shot, and McKercher's body landed with a crash in the middle of the sitting room floor. So McKercher ran around the house, finally come around to the front steps of the house, where he got shot, and the shot was so hard it slammed him through the doors and into the sitting room floor. That's how hard he was hit. In the head. That's amazing. Okay. This, of course, greatly alarmed Lloyd's mother, you think, who ran to the back door screaming. Lloyd fired twice more, once through the middle of his mother's back, but then he wasn't done, and then once in the back of her head. So she heard the shots. She's right there in the house. So she must have ran, saw what happened, and then ran screaming the other way and went towards the back door to escape, where he wouldn't let her get away, so he shot her in the back, walked up to her while she's on the floor, and then put the rifle to the back of her head and shot. Oh my God. Okay. So, this is where we're at. Okay, so Lloyd at the time saw what he had done, and he knew he was going to get caught. He had no remorse, none. But he knew that he was the only one on the scene that wasn't shot, so he had to try to make a cover-up story. So he laid the rifle down next to McKercher's body. Then he hurried off to the fields to find his brother Orville, who was plowing the fields in order for him to get an alibi. So he could then say, that I've been with my brother Orville all day. I wasn't the one that did the shooting. It must have been McKercher, and then turned it on himself. However, how McKercher could have shot himself in the head with a Winchester rifle, I have no idea. That's nearly impossible. On his way to the field to meet his brother Orville, Lloyd met his younger sister and his younger brothers, who asked him, what were the shots? What were they about? Of course, Lloyd said he hadn't heard him. Now, if his siblings heard him way out in the field, Lloyd should have heard him. So his sister and brothers were kind of like suspicious. The siblings ran to the house, and Lloyd followed. Because they had to know it came from there. When the siblings found the dead bodies, Lloyd leaped onto McKercher's horse and raced to his uncle's house. So you're probably wondering why he's doing that. You're thinking he's going to escape, that he's going to just take off. Nope. Remember, he's entitled. And he's the oldest. So with his parents now being dead, he's going to inherit that farm, which is a huge farm. It's worth a lot of money back in the day. And he wants to build an alibi, so he wants to come across as innocent. So Lloyd breathlessly reported that someone had murdered his parents and McKercher. So now he's switching his story in his head. So no longer did McKercher do it. He's saying some random person came and killed all three of them. If that being the case, why would the person lay the rifle down next to McKercher? See, so Lloyd's not really thinking. I don't think he's quite that bright. But anyways, with suspicion immediately falling on Lloyd, he was arrested. The whole town knew of his reputation. So, and then they just knew, the stories were fishy. He kept changing his stories off and on, off and on, off and on. The family told the sheriff to keep Lloyd locked up tight or he'll come murder the rest of them. That's that's Lloyd's reputation, Lloyd Montgomery's reputation in the town. That's pretty bad when your own family says that. I mean, they must have been scared. Could you imagine? I mean, he had just murdered his mother and father. Why wouldn't he go murder his aunt and uncle and cousins and sisters and whatever? So Lloyd's story changes constantly and seems to enjoy the fact of being in jail. So when he was in jail, back then, people were put in jail for the, minor things like fighting in public or yelling out loud or women showing their ankles or whatever. So they were often put in jail for just short, like overnight or whatever. And sometimes Lloyd's friends, the people he ran around with, would be put in that jail, and just Lloyd had a great time with them. He didn't act like he was in jail. He didn't act like, he was being arrested or being charged with 3 murders. The funny thing about this is Lloyd was never charged with McKercher's murder. He was only charged for his parents' murder. I tried to do some research on why that is, but I just can't. I can't find it. This case has been so buried because nobody wants to talk about it that it took me a long time to find what information I have now. So, on January 31st, 1896, Lloyd was hanged for his murders. So, I wanted to know where he was hanged. With it being outside of Brownsville and the sheriff was handling the situation, what also was going on at the same time in Lane County is another murderer is going around killing people. 19 people to be exact. And it was a woman. Her name was Emma. I'm not going to say the last name because I'm really not doing a story on her. But she's a more well-known case. But so they were dealing with all of this. So they just wanted to get Lloyd Montgomery done and over with. So they came out here and they lynched him. They hung him. And where they hung him is where they buried him. And so with this graveyard, I'm going to pan the graveyard here. With this graveyard here, it being so old, there are trees in here. Lots of trees. Well, I shouldn't say lots of trees, but there are trees. I'm sitting right next to one with kind of like this brush and trash somebody's cleaning up. This, from what I understand, is the graveyard that he was hung and buried in. However, a lot of these stones out here are so old, you cannot read the names. So, that's the story of the Montgomery family. There's also, that's Lloyd Smith. Oh, that's late. That's later. That's cool. That's stone though. So there's a whole story about Lloyd's grave. What do you call? It's not like a myth. It's like an urban legend that if you come out to his grave, you find his grave, you come out to his grave, and you incite him, like if you try to like bring a Ouija board or you try to do like just try to talk to him and raise him spiritually, that he will cause chaos in the town of Brownsville. He was that kind of guy. So I gotta grab my phone. I dropped on the ground. So we're not gonna do that. However, we are gonna go around and kind of just see if we can get anybody to talk. So I'm gonna put this paperwork away, and I'm gonna turn on Turn on the app here. Okay. So I'm gonna leave it on its full volume because we're out in the middle of nowhere. See how beautiful that is? Out in the middle of nowhere. My 4Runner over there. There's those trees I was just sitting under. Okay, so is there anybody here that wants to talk to us? This is a pretty big tree. Look how big that tree is. Is this the tree that Lloyd Montgomery was hung from? Does anybody here know who Lloyd Montgomery is? Not getting a whole lot. That is a huge tree. I don't know if you can see the scope. This has got some big old limbs. It's like the biggest one here. I wonder if this is the tree. Can somebody come forward and talk with me? It's Sunday, it's a visiting day. Come to visit with you. Does anybody want to say anything? Oh, we're getting some reception here. Nicole. Oh, wow. Is your name Nicole? Do you know who Lloyd Montgomery is? Wow. Getting a lot of activity here. Wire. I don't know what wire is. You want me to go somewhere where there's wire? There's like a wire fence around here. Are you near a wire fence? Horses. I don't see any horses. Do you know the Montgomery family or the McKercher family? So there's a big tree over there. Let's see, let's walk over there and look. If I hear this thing going off, I'll let you guys see it. Yeah, that's a big old tree. That is a huge old tree. Big old, looks like limbs have been cut down too. We're getting some activity here. No saint. No, I'm not a saint. Oh, check that out. Somebody's got a battery hooked up to the fence. Oh, it must be, yeah, for the animals, probably for the sheep. Hey, sorry about that. I don't know why my camera just went off. So, we're still in the same location. We haven't moved too far. So, yeah, we're just looking at some graves and kind of just walking around, see if we can get a hold of some people here. And we're getting some activity. So the last words were no saint. So what do you want to tell me? Use my energy if you have to. Oh, they're trying to come through. Must be hard for them. You would think with being deceased for so long. Who's that wind's picking up? I wish we could read some of the names on these graves. Stair. I don't know. Oh. Are you talking about the stairs that we were just talking about with the story? Where McKercher was killed? We're getting another message. What's strong here? A prayer. You guys said prayers over it? It's Thompson. There's a weird one there. Oh, it's so worn down. That's only 1921 though. See, here's one. Here. So it says, I got the word live or live. I'm alive. I'm just here to try to talk to you guys. I wonder if there's any graves down there. I doubt it. Down by that fence? I don't know. Do you guys know, can you guys tell me where the Montgomerys and the McKerchers are? Some of these graves are hard to read. See, look at this one. It fell over, so they just left it. All I could make out is Thompson, maybe? Ah, look at that. I can't make that out. Look at that. That's virtually impossible. That's so sad. They just let him just lie on the ground like that. Yeah, that's Thompson. Keep walking with me. Keep talking with me. These are all the Thompsons. There's Powell. Stannard. Stannard. That's a weird name. Never heard that name before. Look how close they got all these graves. Just buried next to each other. Oh, there's a Stannard. Must be a whole family Stannard. Oh, sorry. Hill. Yeah, some of these I can't read. Abused. Yeah, these gravestones have been really abused. Why doesn't everybody come over here and meet me at the tree? If you want to talk to me, come over here at the tree. Do you want to come and tell me something? Do you want to just visit? This thing's going off. You can talk through this machine I'm holding. You just come up. After them. After them who? Who is them? Who are we talking about? Are you talking about the Montgomerys and the McKerchers? Can you guys come over to the tree and talk with me? Say something to me so I know that you're here. Like, give me your name. Can you remember your name? Can you remember your first or last name? Carson. Well, hi, Carson. I don't know if that's your first or last name. So what are you doing today? Are you just visiting with other people here? My name is Mark. That's my first name. Saint. Oh, no. No, I'm far from being a saint. Looks like he wants to say something else. I am far from being a saint. I'm just like any normal person. Is there anybody else here besides Carson that wants to say hi? Carson's pretty brave for coming forward. Sleep. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're sleeping. Do you want to just sleep and you want me to leave you alone? You want me to go away? Would you like for me to leave? Am I bothering you guys? You just have to let me know. Otherwise, I still want to talk to you. Is there anybody else here besides Carson? There's something behind me. It's like somebody else is coming through. No, guess not. They're trying. I am hearing noises. It's almost like wood on wood or something. Not a knocking, but like maybe a thump or something. Yeah, it's the ceiling. I don't know what that means. Alright guys, I'm gonna take off. I hope you guys all rest well. So I'm gonna leave this running until I get to the car. So you guys have a great day. It says decapitated. Yeah, that's a little bit more information than I want to know. So, yep, let's kind of scan. Anyways, I hope you guys really enjoyed the story. And, I was browsing a little bit around the cemetery. So, yeah, if you guys want to do some research, try to see if we can find more about the story of Lloyd Montgomery, that would be awesome. And let me know what you get. And let me know what you think about the story, you know, and the gruesomeness of what he did. And, oh, it looks like we got I didn't see this one. Recent Troy Wayne. Yeah, it's pretty decorated. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go, and we're gonna move on to the next episode. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and it was a lot of fun doing that research on that story, by the way. So I'm gonna be doing some more, and we'll see what we get. So you guys stay safe, stay weird, and I'll see you around the flip side. Bye guys.